Hey, welcome to the Paul Pluta channel, and this is Saturday Night CLYVE, and we're talking actually with someone with a fresh perspective on watches, because they're, and also with a fresh cell phone battery. Now, we're joined today by Max Levinson. He's a 13-year-old, so guys, be nice, really be nice, with a watch with his own YouTube channel. And Max, what's your channel called?
Well, it's called Max Levinson. Kind of interesting, I know, but it's just the place where I outlet with my watch reviews. But it's called Max Levinson.
Okay. Now, and the reason why we're having him on, approached on Facebook, but I've actually seen a couple of your reviews, and they are good. I mean, they are seriously good reviews.
Well, I appreciate that.
Well, no, it was good. It was comprehensive, and it actually gave an experience of what it's like, about the pros and cons of everything. Actually, a real bona fide, in-depth user review, and that's something with a fresh face and with fresh perspective, but comprehensive. So I really enjoyed it.
Well, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I guess I'm trying I'm just trying to build. You can see there's only like 3-4 videos on there or something along those lines. But I'm just trying to kind of build like the groundwork now, and then maybe just try to evolve in a certain way. All these different platforms, all these different review styles are taken. So we'll see if I can kind of develop my own. But I really appreciate that.
No, actually, you're off to a great start. Now, how did you get into watches?
How did I get into watches? Good question. So I've always been into mechanical things, in general. So it started off, believe it or not, with elevators. And I was into elevators for a number of years. I can't really explain it. I know.
Okay. You're 13 years old. How you're for a number of years. Exactly what age were you into elevators?
Oh, okay. All right. Fine. All right, I'll give you that. I was maybe like 3 or 4. I honestly, okay. I don't know how I could explain a passion for elevators, and it's kind of like this, like the watch world 20-30 years ago, a thing I can't really explain because I wasn't around. But there's no like online platforms. There's no groups of people that meet together every month for coffee that, to talk about the new elevator motor or whatever. But it was just this kind of weird thing that I was just really into for whatever reason. But, that's my thing with elevators. And then from there, I kind of got into cars. And from kind of got into cars, I mean really got into cars. And so, from there, you could kind of notice the stereotypically, if one had a nice car, they would normally have a nice watch. I know it sounds a little but it's true. And, from that, you would kind of notice the people with the Lamborghinis and the Bugattis, they'd be wearing these nicer watches. And you'd start to notice these, and I never really kind of acted on it until it came to a point about 2-3 years ago. I was in 6th grade. And I was on a field trip to Manhattan. And when I was there, one of the chaperones had a Rolex Submariner, it was a ceramic Rolex Submariner. Just got it, and we just started talking about watches, and from there it just kind of exploded.
Nice. Now, by the way, what watch are you wearing now? You're aware of the mandatory quick wristwatch check.
Wristwatch check, yes.
So what are you wearing?
So I am wearing my uncle's Vulcan Cricket that he has lended to me. It's all original down to the buckle, which is like fantastic. And you can't show one without demonstrating the main.
You have to.
All right, ready? I don't know where the mic is, but can you hear it?
Yeah, actually, you can hear it quite clearly.
I forgot to wind the alarm, so it's kind of weak. But there's the alarm. So there's the Cricket. That's what I'm wearing. How about you guys?
Ving Tenier, who was on last, basically says, kids got great taste. I love Vulcan crickets.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually. So that's actually amazing because that is truly a watch nerd watch.
Yes. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, after you, please. Go ahead.
Well, actually, I think the passion for Vulcans, I actually had one of my own, which ended sadly like two weeks ago because it stopped working. But I had one, and my passion for Vulcan was kind of sprouted by Eric Wind, and he's always been sending me those little links and to Vulcan crickets. But now I'm kind of getting the chance to really explore one that's genuine and working correctly, that's keeping relatively good time, and I'm really enjoying it. So there's the Vulcan.
Are you familiar with the history of the Vulcan cricket?
Well, I'm learning more about it. I know it's the presidential watch, as known, yes. Which I think, by the way, my personal opinion, modern Vulcan is just not, really just not emphasizing that enough. They're just kind of, they're not using it to their advantage as much as they should be. Modern watchmakers, most of them don't have that kind of heritage. And Vulcan happens to, and they're just not, but I love them. I respect them as a brand. And yeah, they have, as you said, a pretty cool history.
Well, and one would think of the opposite example of, can you think of a brand that emphasized their connection with presidents?
Other than Rolex, the president.
Nice. Tossed a nice softball. You knocked it out of the park.
Actually, you know what? No, sorry. There's one, but they did it very, very minimally with the Omega that JFK had. Oop, there goes my phone. But he had one. It was like a square. It had this really weird like patina dial, but it was really cool. And he actually they made a remake or a reissue that was like around like $8,000, which was kind of cool. And so that was the other one that I was thinking of. But
nice. Now also, people are asking about the collection, especially the Ferrari key. Tell us about the key. Tell us the story about the keys and also the watch boxes.
Okay, so, the watch boxes. So actually, the keys, I'll start because that seems to be getting the most questions. So the keys was from the kind of car interest. And I guess you can probably see the Ferrari. I have a couple, actually. I'll start with, this one is like from the 458. So I'd get these from dealerships. And don't worry, I would not be going to like Times Square and like stealing these off like keychains or whatever. But, I would go to dealerships with my grandfather, and we would go and just ask if they had any extra keys, and more often than not, they would. And that's where that started, to just kind of, it was a weird little pastime for me, but I enjoy it, and got to experience, have some kind of pretty cool keys from like the Ford Model T to the Ferrari 275. Oh. So actually, if you're wondering,
show us the Model T key. Yeah, actually, I think that's kind of neat. Wow.
That's from a Ford Model T.
Huh.
There you go.
Where did you get a key for a Ford Model T from?
Believe it or not, this is the only key out of all of these I've spent any money on. So
how much did it cost?
I think there was a lot of maybe 15 keys. So there were 2 original Ford Mustangs, but altogether it was $20. Nice.
That's a nice little key though to have.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little.
So tell us about.
Good.
No, tell us about the watch boxes. There's a collection. Now the Omega is probably from your Omega Seedmaster, because I remember that from your review.
Right. So actually, that I got before I got the Seedmaster. This is the Seedmaster box. It's all in here. But this is kind of like a beat up Omega box that somebody gave me. And I believe that was actually my first box. And then this is inspired from our dear friend Christian, from his 3 Rolex boxes in the back of the studio. So there's that. And then I have Tag Heuer from when I worked at a Tag Heuer boutique. And then my dad's Tag Heuer. And then my Seiko boxes, Breitling, Cartier, just so on and so on.
Okay, we'll come back to social media here in a second. So what was your first watch?
Say that again? Sorry.
what was your first watch? Tell
My
us
first
about
watch.
Walk us through the watches that you've bought and had and flipped if necessary.
So I have most of it in front of me. You're on my Mac, so I can't really, kind of flip it over. But I have. I started off, first watch altogether was this, and this is the true definition of what Archie would refer to as a word I can't say because my parents are probably watching. Yes. So, but it was like this kind of weird watch that was produced in Weston, Connecticut. I bought it at a science museum, and I wore this for probably like 6 years. And
so what can you tell us about that watch?
It's honestly, I have no idea because there are no archives on this brand. Like this is the kind of watch you'd find at like a street corner or something. It's like me come into this alleyway and I'll sell you a pack of watches for $40. But it's it's kind of cool because it has that weird element of history in my collection because actually I had given it to a cousin of mine. And I didn't think that I'd actually, be able to get associated with some of the people that I ended up getting associated with, this, for example. And I wanted to kind of have it just so I could show people this is the first watch. And I've noticed not very many people are able to do that. But I wanted it just as a little memento. So I have it. And that's really all I really know about the watch.
Okay. And let's move on to the next one. So you had that for actually a few years. So what did you get next?
Next I've had, they're not all here, but I've had a bunch of like digital Casios, like G-Shocks, and those are like a multitude of those. But and then I think where it kind of got really started was with this. Now this is one of the gems of my collection. It's a vintage Seiko turtle. I know we were discussing this one earlier. But one of my grail watches was the Seiko SRP 779. And I was watching a YouTube video on that watch, and all of a sudden my dad comes in with this watch. And he's like, does this have any, use to you or any value to you? And I didn't realize what it was at the time. And he's like, I think it needs a new battery. And then I shook it and I decided that, and started working. My dad's like, oh, it's witchcraft. But because I guess, you don't really understand what the difference between quartz, automatic, mechanical for that matter. But there's so that was really the first one. But this belonged to my great grandfather. And I have the original bracelet, and I never met him, which is kind of the interesting thing to why I got really into watches, is because you can associate certain things, certain stories with, wearing a watch. And I think that's really one of the prime examples of that.
Now, and I know I'm jumping around all over the place, but you also mentioned that you worked in a Tag Heuer boutique and you're 13?
I didn't. I probably shouldn't use the word worked. I was in Manhattan for the month. We had a place 55th and Broadway, and just around the corner at 57th and 7th, there's a boutique that I worked for, or that I interned at for about 2-3 weeks, and that was probably a huge learning experience for me, because you were able to see the whole retail side of things, how that really works. But that's where it really got started in the whole Manhattan area. But that's that, and they gave that to me as a little memento.
What did you do as an intern for Tag Heuer?
You'd have to ask them, because I can't say that I was that good, because I made probably like 3 sales altogether in 3 weeks. But
oh, so you did sales for Tag Heuer?
Well, yeah, well, it wasn't a Tag Heuer, like it was an authorized retailer. They're called Daniel B. Jewellery. So they were like this. They focused mainly on jewelry, but they had their like section for watches mainly. They had, but it wasn't mainly it was mainly Tag Heuer, but they had Longines, a bunch of other brands. But that was kind of interesting in that way. But
Now, what, if anything, did you learn from your experience working at the authorized dealer?
So much. Because, well, actually,
yeah, please. Because unlike a lot of people, I mean, there's actually a lot of some people on YouTube and some people on the internets actually have retail or commercial experience, or even sometimes management experience, but there's a lot of people who have never had to sell watches. So what did you learn?
So I think the main thing, well, one of the lessons that I found really funny and actually quite true, and I don't know if I could be saying this on live because this is actually really true. This is helpful advice for if you're going in to buy a watch. So don't tell anyone that I said this, but trying it on is 50% of the sale. And you probably know that's like test driving. Like if you go to buy a Ford Mustang, you may not want to buy it until you drive it and realize that 500 horsepower is a lot. And then you're driving. It's just one of those things that you don't really realize the full power of something until you really try it on and get to know it. So that was one of the lessons. One of them was make sure when you're talking to someone, don't go off and talk to somebody else. Focus on that. It was just there was a bunch of kind of miscellaneous things, but when you put them together, it really kind of goes together and makes a huge common, huge. I don't know how to describe it. A very useful bit of information.
Okay, so you've got your great-grandfather's Seiko.
Yes.
And then what other watches besides that? What other watches grabbed your interest?
So that was one. That was a big one. And then it was the Seiko SRP 779. As I said, I loved Omega. I got into Omega, and I saw somebody actually said, what's your grill watch? Omega Speedmaster Professional. And I know Archie is very, very, very familiar with that watch, but I'm obsessed with it. But
it's a great watch. It's a great watch.
And I got the chance for my bar mitzvah to wear. I was offered actually any watch at Watch You Want. They were friends of mine at the time, still are, and they invited me in and they said, you can have any watch for this X amount of time while you're having your bar mitzvah.
So did you have a chance to meet Tim Mah?
Yes. He's a great guy.
How many times did he mention JLC during an average conversation?
So much so that he pulled out his entire JLC collection, which isn't a bad thing by any chance. No. But that was really cool because he has this tourbillon Reverso that's insane. Like I'd never think I'd see something like this, but it was insane. But he, they really were the first kind of stop in my thing. But they offered me any watch you want in our inventory. You can wear it for a week and then give it back unscratched, or you're going to have to sell your house. So that was that. And I chose, there were Longas, FP Journes, it was limitless. And I ended up going for the Speedmaster. And that watch really.
Sorry, let me jump in real quick. Bington Ye has a super chat where he just simply says, "Man on the moon."
I was expecting a word in between the and moon.
No, I told him.
Okay.
13. The parents are watching. I do not want Chris Hansen knocking on our doors. So no.
Okay. No, that's all right. Don't worry. On this episode of Child Predator,
a little watch check, didn't you, Mister? Sorry, go ahead.
On this episode of Child Predator, we have, it's
Archie Luxury.
That would be pretty funny. No, don't worry about it. Honestly, but from where was I actually? I completely forgot.
You went into Watch You Want, and they were showing you around, and we're asking about the piece after the Seiko.
Yeah, so it was after the Seiko. Actually, I was probably going off on the tangent about the Speedmaster because I adore it. But I eventually got it was my first bar mitzvah gift. That really, and this was kind of my I was hunting for something like this for the longest time. But it's the Seamaster automatic it's like the late 70s, maybe early 80s.
Nice.
And you can see it's automatic. It has this like 10-12 movement, I believe. It has the hippocampus on the back and original bracelet, original dial, original crystal. So that was kind of my first kind kind of grail watch that I had gotten because I knew I wanted a proper Omega, if you could call this a proper Omega, which to me it is really a proper Omega.
So how many mils is that watch there?
I actually haven't memorized. I haven't measured it. I think it's probably, I'd say high 30s, early 40s.
Why wouldn't you have any, like, say, 33 millimeter watches?
So I do.
Let it go, Archie. Let it go. Let it go. Just ignore the bad man and keep talking about your watch collection.
No. Don't worry about it. No, honestly, this one's like the size of my thumb, but we'll get to this one later.
Would you buy a new watch in say a small size, or do you think that's mainly for girls?
Oh, jeez.
No, it's a good question because for me, being my age, I actually almost bought. My parents aren't watching; they just texted me, "Where are you live?" I'm not going to respond to that, so I can say this. I almost bought a Reverso that was tiny.
Great. Yeah.
And I was gonna wear it. Was manual wind. He wanted next to nothing for it. It was all original. Got it, checked out, and I was like head over heels.
I'm wearing my Reverso. I'm wearing my Reverso now. It's my Reverso.
The Grand Date.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's a great watch. That.
No, I think it's just it resembles something so cool in history that's it's just so. You can't beat it.
It's like something from the 19th century. It's something that your great grandfather would have worn and handed down like a treasured family heirloom if they had class and treasure and sophistication and money.
Right, exactly. But actually, I almost forgot. This is a heck of a story that I think you guys. But To Catch a Predator, these people, they're being a little, it's pretty funny. I had a feeling this is going to happen. But anyways, for my bar mitzvah, I'm sorry is it okay if I'm like ranting like this? This is okay, right?
No, that's fine. Cool.
No, it's actually,
So I think, Archie, you'll particularly enjoy this. It was for my bar mitzvah, my grandpa, he's into watches and cars. We've kind of had our common interests, and I get along with him very well. We're almost like best friends. It's true. And from getting to know my grandpa, and we would talk watches, intermittently here and there, but he has this one watch that he kind of adored, and it was called. It's called the Lucien Piccard. It was a kind of horologically important brand back in the day, but now they're kind of moving towards mid-tier sort of, which isn't a bad thing by any means.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, a bit like Longines,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, that watch, it was quartz, but most of the value was in the case. It was a like solid gold case, so most of the value usually is in the case with those sorts of watches. But
yeah.
I asked him, I haven't really seen it in the flesh since I've gotten into watches. Could you wear it? And to my bar mitzvah, I'd be honored if you were to wear it. So he says, yeah, I'll definitely wear it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Fluffy, bad kitten. Bad kitten. Bad.
I'm not even going to read.
Don't. Please do.
Okay, I won't.
Don't.
All right, but
Hey, Mr. Levinson, I really apologize. I sincerely apologize.
Honestly, I think, I'm in middle school. I go to a public middle school, so there's nothing I haven't heard. Just saying, but be careful, just be like, but I'm just saying.
I'm not.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway.
Yeah, so he says, I'll wear it. And fast forward service Friday night. He gets out of his car, and I come up and I say, hey, Grandpa, normal stuff. And I see this huge, blue watch on his wrist that I'd never seen anything like it before. It was huge. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't remember this thing having a blue dial. I have seen it before, here and there. And he says to me, okay, well, we'll go inside and you'll have a look at it. I sit down next to him, and the service starts. And he sits. We're sitting next to each other, and I said, "Can I see the watch?" Takes it off, and I see it doesn't say Lucien Piccard on the dial. In fact, it says Patek Philippe on the dial. And I ask him, "Grandpa, how long have you had a Patek Philippe?" And he says, "About 3 hours." So he went and bought this Patek Philippe Jumbo Ellipse, automatic, beautiful watch. I wish I could show it. It's just this huge. It's oversized, but it's just beautiful.
Actually, they're a great watch. I must say, I had two ladies' ellipse. I had two, and the ellipse. Look, it gets a bad rep now. People say, it's very, it's a bit, it's dated. But I think that blue they use on the dial is like a royal blue. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's such a cool dial. The ellipse is a. Did it have a gold bracelet or a strap?
It's all gold, solid gold, like weave bracelet. Yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous piece.
I'll send you a picture. It's really something that's it's a dress watch, obviously, but it's something that's mainly to be just passed down. As the motto goes, you never really own a Patek Philippe. You merely safeguard it for the next generation.
Yes.
So so there's that. But
actually, Archie, do you think we could turn the comments off just to be completely safe?
I don't know how to do that.
Okay. Okay, Max, do me. No, Max. No.
Okay. I won't.
Done. Trust me.
I don't know how to.
Mostly, but there's 2 or 3 bad eggs. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Patek Philippe. Gold bracelet. Gold weave.
Yes. So that was really it to that story, and he still has it, by the way. And actually, since I negotiated with this guy on 47th Street, and we bought a Rolex Daytona, stainless steel, bezel, basically just brand new condition. Loved the watch and got it for like cost. And that's how you know you're really Jewish, when you can negotiate over the course of a week to really get the price down. But so, and I know comments are gonna have some fun with that. But that's his everyday watch, and he keeps the Patek in the vault. But that's that really kind of interesting story. But I do you want me to just show some pieces in front of me, or?
Yeah, actually, just tell us what you want to tell us.
Well, I don't know, actually, because I don't want to be like, because Archie, I know you have your opinions on these sorts of watches, and I'll start off kind of.
Show us what you enjoy and just ignore the bad man.
Hey, okay. Clive, I tell you something. I've just worked out something. You know something I just worked out?
What's that?
I worked out how to put earplugs in your ear. This is how. So, because mine keep falling out, you're supposed to wind them around your ear like that. I've learned how to do it. It's
how you do it.
That's amazing, man. That's what you do to stop it. Oh shit! Because I used to always put them in like this, right? I used to put them in like this, and they'd always fall out. But you're supposed to put them in here and wrap them around your ear. Okay, no worries, Clive. Sorry, I just learned how to do something. That was amazing.
No, you're totally right. It's like that's what all the middle schoolers do.
Did you? And so you taught him that, right?
Yeah, this is from watching the show today. I've learned something. Look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Max, can you teach Archie how to produce quality content?
Don't say that. Oh my gosh, don't say that. But honestly, so I'll start off here with kind of my latest acquisition. It's a Glycine. So I'm going to start off kind of lower, my kind of everyday watch. It has the display case back. So it's,
nice.
And I know you guys are probably used to, more expensive and more, just kind of, but, not to sound, but it's my sort of everyday watch, and I really enjoy it. It's pre-Invicta, so I know that kind of has some credibility these days. But I really like it. It has an ETA 2824, I think, in it. Something.
It's the same movement I had in my Breitling. My Breitling Super Ocean 2824-2.
That's right. Yeah.
Movement. Yeah,
Isn't
that's
that
a great
cool?
movement. It's a great movement. That they use that movement in a lot of things.
Especially this, I believe, right? Or is this not a 2824? I don't remember.
Not sure. I'm not. Let me think on that one. But I got to tell you, that's
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
But this.
Go on. Keep going. Sorry.
No, no, don't. It's. I was just gonna say, it's. This is my really kind of grail prized watch. It's my Seamaster Pro. This is kind of, I wear it on a semi-daily basis, and I love it.
What
so
size
much.
is that there? What size is that? How many mils is that one?
Oh, geez.
This is the 40. No, this is the big one. This is the full size.
Yeah, because you want to grow into it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's my thing. If it's not vintage, I always go full size.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't look that big on you there. I mean, I think something, 30s, low 30 mils is just too small even for kids these days, isn't it?
Oh,
no, you're totally right. No, he's totally right. It is what it is, and it's in this,
There's nothing worse than a small watch on your wrist. It just looks lame, doesn't it?
I totally agree. I really do.
Yeah.
Actually, Christian always. I had this tiny little Cartier tank that I wore, and it was tiny. It was like probably in the 20s, and I was gifted it because they thought it was fake. That's a whole other story. But I was at dinner and they're like, dude, you could totally wear this. And after 2 days, I'm like, this looks really ridiculous. The crown was actually bigger than the case, which is kind of interesting.
And it was real? It was real?
It was real. It was real. It was real.
And you still got it?
No, I had to give it back because the Jackie Onassis sale would increase its value. But
okay. Yes.
But I don't know how much truth that kind of had to it, because it wasn't a Cartier, it was a mustard Cartier.
Yeah, so, I know. It's the silver gold plated one.
Exactly.
So tell me, what car does your granddad have? You said he's a car person? Yeah.
So he has. So we've always kind of been going into the cars. So at one point, I believe he had a Boxster.
Time out.
Sorry,
people are wanting to know what's the story with the skeleton behind you.
The skeleton. Okay, so wait.
Which is the most polite question we're going to get from Fluffy Kitten during the entire chat. So let's reward him for good behavior.
Okay, here's the treat. Okay, so the skeleton was given to me by my grandfather, who we were just actually talking about. He's a podiatrist, and I guess one day this huge box arrived at my door, and I look, is it an iPad? For whatever reason, I had that idea in my mind that it was going to be an iPad or something. But so we assembled it. And I just kind of have it. Its neck is severely. There's something really wrong with its neck because, as you can see, it's kind of at a weird 30-degree angle like this. But it's just kind of interesting, and I have it on display in my room because it creeps my sisters out. So yeah, that's my skeleton.
And you're going to become a doctor later on, is that right?
I think so. I hope so. My parents would. You'll all have your opinions on this, but I think he's right. A podiatrist is not a real doctor by definition. A podiatrist is not a real doctor. He's correct. But he, maybe someday. I come from a family of mainly doctors and lawyers. Again, have fun with that. But we'll see someday. My other grandpa was a nephrologist, which is a real doctor by definition.
What is a nephrologist?
Kidney doctor.
Okay. So
I have a kidney on display over there in my little shadow box. So they kind of,
It's in the methylated spirits, Clive.
Also, quick question: larger, Max's age or TGV's? What is larger, the Max's age or TGV's new ladies' watch purchase?
Oh God!
You started at
Is he getting that much beef over that AP?
Would you buy one?
An AP? Well, I mean, if I could, I'd have to take out a mortgage or something. But yeah, I would.
They're only $5,000. They're not that expensive.
Really? I thought it was what, moon phase and day and date.
Yeah, but they're a dog. They're a dog of the range. Nobody wants them because AP is Royal Oak or nothing.
Well, yeah, no, I totally
agree.
They're
$5,000 on Chrono 24. No one wants it. The service costs are more than the watch is worth.
I thinking about it, I probably wouldn't. I'd go more towards Royal Oak Offshore Diver. I love that.
That's a lot more expensive. The Royal Oak Offshore Diver is 10 times the price. That's why TGV bought the girl size one because it was cheap.
Well,
that's why he bought it, because it was cheap.
It's more justifiable. And you know, honestly, that's the way I would go. You know, if I, you know, am trying to be able to get a watch that's in, you know.
Let me put it this way. It's like going into these car dealers, right? We want to buy a Rolls Royce, right?
Sure.
But we got $5,000 to spend. You're not going to get a Rolls Royce, are you? For $5,000, are you?
That's true. It's like going in to buy. Well, actually, no. I was going to use a Porsche range as a reference, but I'm not going to.
So your grandfather's got a Boxster.
No, he had a Boxster. He's got a Lexus now because now we're all kind of grandkids and grown up, so they have to transport us. But we actually, last week, we test drove the Mustang GT. I used that as a reference earlier. Yes. And let me tell you, whew, that was amazing.
Yes.
But so we'll see where that goes.
Okay, super chat by Tanzil. Sorry. So this is actually your test by fire, Max, because you're trying to discuss something serious and people are barraging us with less than serious questions. So actually, Archie, what is more real? The amount of cars this kid owns from the key sets behind him, or Andy Hutler's submarine date.
I saw that coming. I saw that coming.
I think the amount of cars this kid owns, Clive, look at this. Remind me not to let this kid valet my car, Clive.
Oh, God. For the record.
I could almost see him carrying your Civic key around like this. Like.
It's not true. It's not true. It honestly, the number of cars I own right now is 0. Just for the record, I do not own any cars, which is typical if you guys didn't know for a 13-year-old. But
so tell me this, you know, if you had a, you know, those I got to tell you, in all honesty, there, I wanted to ask you what is going to be your watches that you get in time there. What are you sort of aiming for? Have your parents promised you a watch if you do really well in school?
Well, they you know, right now they've kind of promised me a college education, so I think that's my substitute to a watch. But, you know, honestly, I think, you know, at some point maybe, you know, my grandpa kind of pledged me the Patek. That was kind of the whole point. But, you know, right now for my personal, you know, getting up in the collecting world, I think, you know, it's going to be going more towards Speedmaster now. You know, us collectors, us being collectors, we say,
would you get the reduced? Would you get the reduced?
No, I was about to. And as I was about to, I was just like, you know, and they kept on having this weird issue where when I'd reset the chronograph, the hand would just, you know, go back maybe 3 millimeters too far each time I would do it.
I'm sorry. Super chat, Max. Max, as this is from Tanzil. Oh, Tanzil finally joined us, so he's going to make some coin now. Max, as a millennial in Archie's future viewer base, what is more cool? Archie making videos of crappy watches, or Federico owning replicas? Parentheses, hi Ralphie, in parentheses.
Wait, so hold on. What is more cool? Honestly,
Archie making videos about the Tissot in the Breitling, or Federico owning replicas?
I didn't hear anything about him owning replicas, but you know, I'm going to stay out of that actually, because I don't want to, you know, start. Yeah, So, but honestly, I think I actually enjoy, you know, Archie. I enjoy being, you know, and the content that you produce is actually very, very cool for me, because I enjoy watching it. Not only is it funny, but you're able to kind of, you know, get this information out of it. That is like if you're doing a Tissot, it's something that's more in reach for somebody like me. You know, and I think that's cool. I think genuinely that's cool that you're gonna, but that's just my personal, you know, you have your way of doing it, and I totally understand, you know, just as Federico does, you know, 80,000.
So what was the first watch channel you started watching as a kid?
Be honest.
Okay, it was Watch You Want, and then it was TGV.
Okay.
But what happened was there, you know, I got to go into Watch You On, and I was really, you know, starting to kind of reach out to people, and I befriended Fed, and you know, more recently Christian.
Now,
and
quick question is, you actually went into What You Want, right?
Correct.
Now, is Josh Thanos actually a werewolf, or does he just look like one?
Oh, that's a very good question. He is not. He is actually really nice. And I don't want to say he looks like one. I've never seen that.
Did any of these guys mention Archie Luxury?
Did they? I don't remember because it was in February, but very possibly. Very possibly.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, but
no, don't worry about it.
Do you ever go on the What You Want live streams?
Yeah, actually, I actually recently talked to Claudio. They're very nice people, you know, and he reached out. He's like, I wanted to just, you know, talk about certain.
They've moved, haven't they? They're not in New York. Which state are you in? So you're in which state are you in?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Miami. Oh, I see. That's where
What You Want.
they moved, haven't they? They moved out of Florida, haven't they?
Yeah, they moved to Philadelphia.
That's right.
So now they're merged with Gothberg. Sorry, super challenge.
Yeah, you're catching on quick. Max, I envision your hairstyle is what Archie's used to look like back in 1989 when he first entered a Chinese all-you-can-eat buffet and found somebody. We'll just leave it at that. So, okay, that was not a question.
So tell me this.
Okay, quick question. I'm sorry. I have to reward good behavior here. This is my fluffy kid, and bear with me. Why has Max adjusted his bangs more in the last 3 minutes than Breitling does to their ETA movements in general?
That's a good question. Do I have bangs, by the way? I don't know if you can call it. This is just not giving a, you know.
Okay.
But that's a good question. I don't know.
Okay, actually, and to give Fluffy Kitten good value for money, do you want to adjust? Let's both adjust our bangs real quick.
There we go. Yeah.
So tell me this: as far as your watches go, there, what are your? So you'd really like to get a Speedmaster, not the reduced. You want to get the big size, the standard size one. And
correct.
What other watches have you? Any Rolexes have got your eyes on?
So I was looking again, Mom, Dad, cover your ears, please. But it is the Datejust CLYVE. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that thing. We were just talking about that. But my kind of I never really got Rolex as a brand up until maybe like 3 weeks ago. It just hit me. It was one of those things, and I was just like, all of a sudden, it just turned on, and I was like, I really like the Datejust, especially like the 1601, 1603, probably from Christian drugging me up with really desirable pictures of them. But I really, you know, I enjoy it, and I think
Christian's in New York, isn't he? He's in New York.
He's in New Jersey. Yes.
You don't go to New York, do you?
Well, we were actually we go more often than not because we have most of our families there.
Archie, he mentioned Manhattan like 4 times.
Yeah, I did pick that up. He said on a day trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I think for that whole thing, I kind of, now that I'm more, we were actually there for the summer. We were at, I think I said 55th and Broadway, and we were there. It was just wonderful, but I for some reason didn't actually like reach out to as many people as I should have, and now I'm like aching to go back because there are a whole bunch of people I just like am dying to meet up with, and you know, but we'll see where that whole thing goes.
Yeah, so, no, that's fantastic.
Now you're bringing up, Archie's bringing up specific models, you know, or specific brands rather. Where do your interests lie? Because in talking with you, it sounds like you've got a serious interest in vintage, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, so I think, you know, from collecting, from kind of being an outsider, kind of looking into the retail / wholesale world of this industry, you start to notice that vintage watches go usually for a little bit less than normal watches. Normal modern watches. So, for example, this vintage chronograph would go for, way less than, let's say, a modern Speedmaster. And I love this thing because, you're able to just wear it and have a chronograph to play with and just time random stuff throughout the day, rather than spending more than I can afford really on a modern chronograph, which has its upsides. But
what kind of chronograph is that? Tell us about it.
This, it's a. So from what I know right now, this is a chronograph Swiss. It has like this domed logo on the dial, which is really beautiful. The dial color is just fantastic. I don't know, because I can't really flip the camera around, but you can see the sub dials have like this wonderful kind of pattern on them, and it's just wonderful. And
how big is it? How big is it roughly?
It's huge. It's bigger than my Seamaster. Lug to lug. I'd say it's probably 40, 42, around that range.
40 and 42. How old do you suppose it is?
I'd say it's from the 30s or 40s. I think.
That is impressive. Any idea what kind of movement's in it?
So yeah, it's a Landeron caliber 2.4. Actually, no, sorry. It would be late 40s, early 50s. That's what. Sorry, I wanted to just. But this is definitely
a Landeron 248, maybe.
Yeah, 248 exactly. So kind of workhorse chronograph movement, but it gets the job done. Definitely, I love it. I adore it. There's a super chat that came up, and we're getting beef.
This one's for you, Max. Which of the terms can you get Archie to say? Onwards and upwards. I'm chuffed to bits. Or I've been waiting donkeys for this AP. And Tanzil, thanks for keeping it. So
you guys are brutal.
Welcome to Archie Luxury. No, this is this group playing real nice. This is Tanzil on his best behavior. So as you should know, if you watch the channel, and Mrs. Levinson, if he is, I'm really, really sorry.
I honestly, I don't think they are, because I don't think they're going to be able to find it. But honestly, we'll see. But so honestly, sorry.
Which of the terms do you think you can get Archie to say? Onwards and upwards, I'm chuffed to bits, or I've been waiting donkeys for this AP?
I don't want to get deleted from the live chat as soon as I say any of those.
That's okay.
Because I think Archie has his thumb like on the delete button, just like, do it, I dare you. But honestly, I think I don't know.
As long as you're bringing in super chats, he does. You can do whatever you want to, really. So
yes, that's right.
Yes.
Archie's like, yeah, do it.
Onwards and upwards, boys.
Nice.
Have fun.
Louis, I hope you're watching. All right. So anyway, you're about the Landeron. So what do you think about the Landeron? I mean, the thing is, I've actually got a couple of the 248 myself. And the funny part, how can you tell if someone's just picking up a strange old vintage chronograph? How can you tell a Landeron by a Valjoux or a Venus, for instance?
Honestly, I know one thing that I've noticed. I don't know if this is true or not, but the pushers, to activate the chronograph, you do the top one for start and then the bottom one for stop and reset. I don't know how common that is. I don't know how uncommon that is, but that's one thing I've noticed that I didn't know if it was genuine or not, but go ahead.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
And the other thing, one of the things I've noticed about Landerons as well, and it's nice to have someone else who appreciates it, is that at the time they were considered a lesser movement, but these things are freaking tough.
They're tanks. They're tanks.
Oh yeah, they're tanks. As a matter of fact, like I said, I'm showing you my BWC, and Uberoki's pocket jeweler saying, "Well, hey, we just got this in." I'm like, "Oh, wind, click," and literally he's almost getting ready to jump over the counter because he said, "I just got that. I didn't service it yet."
Right.
I don't know when that's been. Did it work? I'm like, yeah. He's like, "Oh God." But
okay,
literally, this thing could have been sitting in a drawer for 20 years, and it worked just fine.
Well, honestly, it's so cool. Let's hear the winding action. We have to.
No. This one, it's just like, no, you can't really hear it because it's just, it's nice and really silky. It's the Valjoux that has the Valjoux, the old V2, like my Aureus. Oh. That's the one that has the winding action.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that. I love the discernible. Yeah, it feels like you're actually doing something. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and the fact that you like the old vintage chronographs, I actually like.
Well, you know, honestly, I think the thing is about having a watch for me is it's just so cool to have something made up of so many little tiny parts that work together in such a cool way and in such a defined way to achieve this one this one kind of common goal. And you know, this watch, you know, you take off the case back, it's nothing special, but to me, you know, most of my watches don't actually have, you know, chronographs or really anything other than just, you know, their 2 or 3 hands. But, you know, honestly, I just think it's cool to have my one, you know, to some people it's defined as complicated, you know, my one complicated, semi-complicated watch that I can, you know, really enjoy. So I think that's just...
Now, we talked about social media, and we've been dancing around. You've mentioned What You Want, which I think is phenomenal. You've mentioned Christian. You've mentioned Federico. What other watch people? How did you get into social media in watches?
Well, actually, I'm about to run out of battery. Yes, I'll go get a charge. If you guys will excuse me, I'll go get a charge in like 3-4 minutes. But I think I started off with the kind of attribution or whatever you want to call it of Ben Clymer. And he was always this hero, still is this hero figure to me, as you know, Archie is, as Fed is, as all these other people are. But Ben was always this kind of person that I always wanted to meet. And I started an Instagram, started a Facebook, and you know, for a long time I never really got anywhere, but I still really haven't. But you know, I think what's kind of neat is as you said, you know, some of the people that I've been able to talk to. So like other than like What You Want, I got to go. I was really just so thankful for this. It was like one of the best moments that I had really kind of achieved. But it was going to meet the people at Hodinkee. And that was my main, like, I was just so proud to be able to do that. They were really nice, genuine people. And I actually ended up getting this, as I'm sure you all are familiar, if you are even,
System, you know. 51?
System 51 Hodinkee Vintage 84.
Oh, okay, nice. Nice.
So yeah, so that's the little my little kind of other everyday watch. But you know, other than that, that's really kind of where I'm at, and I have these certain goals that I set to meet different people. So like, you know, Archie was one of them, and you know, so I'm kind of moving my way along. Well, I don't want to describe it like that.
You know, Archie was actually interviewed by Ariel Adams recently.
Yeah, I watched that video probably 500 billion times. Just saying.
Did you watch the Archie Luxury movie?
I thought you just like collected the don or something like for that like 2 months ago, right? Or am I just?
Yeah, it's released. It's been released, so it's actually released on YouTube.
Holy
the
cow.
Archie Luxury movie.
He might have to wait a few years before his parents let him watch that, Clive.
Okay,
See,
you're right.
It's
on YouTube. It's on YouTube, so I don't think it can be that censored.
It can't be that bad. But no, honestly, go ahead.
No, please, after you, Max.
No, it's really breaking up. I don't know why. I like don't want to like jump in because I don't know if you're talking. I don't know, but it's just it keeps. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi. It probably is, but whatever. Anyways, what was I going to say? Yeah, my main rule is as long as I don't use the language or whatever it is that's, you know, they don't really care. So, you know, I'm going to go watch it. Definitely.
Yeah, I think the language content is pretty clean, but
okay.
Content, maybe, yeah, you might want to, yeah, never mind. Forget about the Archie Luxury movie. So, so you have a watch channel content. You're 13. So how do you intend to get other pieces to review? What's the piece you want to do a review on next?
Next, I would say next, I'm probably gonna lean more towards like a. Well, actually, Uncle Seiko me some straps to review for him, so I need to get that done. Definitely.
You're actually doing product reviews already. Awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Nice.
well, obviously I haven't filmed it yet, but well, actually I did start filming it, and then I was like, I have to do my homework, so I stopped, and then now I have to finish. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm starting to go, and but I really don't want to do. I want to focus on the watch reviews. Super chat. Okay, all right, never mind.
Okay. Okay. Archie, would you prefer which of the following? Playing field hockey with Fed, wearing nothing but bikinis. Okay, and Tanzil, thank you for keeping it PG. Take a job as Jeeves Williams is the only haute horology YouTube guru.
I think the last one. Admit that Bruce Williams is the only horology guru.
Nice. Yeah, actually, it's what's really amazing about the internet is that.
Wait, what? Oh,
what's really amazing about the internet is keep in mind keep in mind Archie and I are pre-internet basically when we grew up. So so we get to have a 13-year-old who more or less has the middle age of someone who's 31 talking to a 45-year-old with the middle age of 4.5. So you guys actually, the median, yeah, good statistics. Yeah. So anyway, how do you intend to, he's totally not paying attention to us. He's probably on the phone. Anyway, oh, hey, how you doing? Hey, buddy. So how do you intend to do future watches? How do you intend to source them?
Well, sourcing them. Well, I've actually been starting this little business, kind of buying and selling, little like I actually sold, not buying and selling, but just selling for different people, kind of like a consignment sort of thing. But I sold a Speedmaster, working on selling a Ballon Bleu from Cartier. But we'll see how that goes. But I think in the future, just collecting mainly for me is where it's going. I love focusing on just trying to focus on the art of collecting and we'll see really where that goes. But maybe even as I said, starting up that little watch kind of buying and selling business and getting to know different people in the industry would be kind of useful for it. And we'll see. I really couldn't say.
Impressive, and like I said, we're kind of expecting good things from you.
Thank you.
Let's see. What else? Well, how would you classify your interest in watches versus other children other people your age? I hate to say children because that's terribly condescending.
No. Honestly, it really comes across a lot, and honestly, that's a question that's very, very hard to answer because you can't really tell. But most kids in my school, they associate it with this stereotype that it's this like rich kid thing that it's really kind of stupid to me that But anyways, everybody probably gets it, in some way or another. But I think nobody actually in my age really cares about the watches themselves. They just care about the prices, which is not really the point at all. And well, at least to me. And I don't think they're really interested at all. Like most of my friends don't care as long as I'm as long as I'm doing my work and getting my work done. They don't care. So that's really my kind of best answer for that, I'd say.
So, so basically, you're talking about collections, especially if you're going to do either consignment or other things. What do you think? If you wanted to build your channel, build viewership on your channel, what do you think would be a better way to do it? Horology pieces or mid-range?
Well, I would probably start where I started with it, which is like kind of lower to mid. And where I'm still kind of just focusing on right now. Like I love that section of the industry, just lower to mid, like Omega. Well, no, I don't want to say Omega because but like vintage, just vintage like Longines and actually I've been in love with, again, the definition of what Archie would describe as a
right. Yes.
What I can say?
A crappy
yes,
watch.
Exactly. But this is actually, I would love to like kind of make a business starting with this, because this is something I can actually get my hands on fairly easily. And I was actually going to recommend Archie getting one of these just to kind of see and play around with, because you can really do anything with it. It doesn't really matter. It's the Vostok Amphibia. And this is the main thing for it. And I'm sorry, you're okay with me talking about this, right?
You talk about anything. Just keep those
I
chats coming in. Just keep those
okay.
coming in, okay?
All right. So I would say, this is kind of my favorite, like every day, other than the Seamaster and the Swatch. But it's so easy to fool around with. You can modify it like crazy. It doesn't matter. Can you guys excuse me for 1 second? I'm going to grab my charger because I'm about to run out of batteries.
You do that. You do that.
Not a problem.
I will be right back. I'm sorry.
We'll be right here. So what do you think?
He's a nice kid. He's a really nice kid, isn't he?
Sharp as a razor.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He's very nice.
Actually, he's actually a true enthusiast about it. That's what I actually like about it. But he actually has some. I mean, like I said, the Seamaster, he actually had some good productive things to say about it.
And it's good to see he didn't go for the small size. You can't blame him for that, can you?
Oh, there we go. There we go. Can you let it go? Could you let it go? Could you let it go? You're just okay. For you, this is restrained. I have to admit. Okay, you are behaving yourself, much like the people in the comments. Fluffy Kitten, awesome job, by the way.
It's even he says the 33 mils is too small.
Yeah. Well, okay. You didn't beat that point to death. But yes, that's actually being subtle for you. So awesome. But actually,
gotta get my headphones in.
Not a problem.
Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry about that.
And show the bad man with the glasses how you put them on again.
Huh? Sorry.
And show the bad man with the glasses how you put headphones on again. Okay,
so you take this part.
Yeah, no,
and
I
you
can
put it
see
over the ear. He's got it. All right, we have a super chat.
Oh, boy, he's quick. Okay, Max, take a look at the guys you look up to. Arch, an e-beggar. Clyde, an Amish lawyer. TGV, a rodent. Fed, a fraud. Tim Mah, a guy who bicycles in the winter. My recommendation is that you quit watches and play football.
And you can talk to Don. If you want to mix the two, you can talk to Don Haynes.
Well, honestly, I wouldn't describe it as that. I think that's a very negative way of looking at it. And I think that with most kids my age, they do play baseball, and obviously, I'm kind of not really into it in a way. I am, but not really. I can see where it comes from, but it's just not my cup of tea.
What kind of grades do you make in school?
I do relatively well. I try, when it comes to school, I try to, focus mainly on class and not, showing everybody my watches, which would be very annoying and whatever word you would like to use to describe it. But, I do relatively well. My parents, if they're watching, they would tell you that, but they're not. But, honestly, so that's good.
Nice. So, let's see. what? Oh, did we have another super chat? I'm sorry. No, okay. We took care. No, we already took care of that.
Okay.
What do you think about Mark Goldberg?
Who? Wait, I'm trying to remember. Who is that? Just refresh my memory. Sorry.
Mark vlogs watches, or Don Haynes' girlfriend, boyfriend.
He's the dog trainer.
The dog trainer.
Oh, you know what? He was on your live, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I'd be lying if I really, started to talk about it, because I wouldn't know. Okay. I couldn't tell you. But I'll next time, if we do another one someday, if you guys are willing to have me back on, I'll hopefully know more, and I'll answer that in more detail.
So tell me this one question, Max. There, out of all my watches, what do you think is the best one I've got in my collection?
That's a very good question. I would say you still have the Speedmaster. Yeah. Speedmaster. It's just, I'm partial. I'm sorry. I love the World Time Patek.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic watch.
It is a fantastic watch. Yeah, it is. It is.
I think as far as horology, I'm not going to say it right. I just can't. But I think you really can't beat something like that super chat. Blah.
Okay, he knows the. He's quick. He knows the super chat. Oh, super chat. Max, just so that it's clear, Arch has confirmed that unlike in rap songs that you may listen to, watches don't get you girls. Commence selling your collection now.
You're good. I like this guy.
Tansil is like the fifth Beatle. You don't know who the Beatles are. Okay.
Wait, I don't know who the Beatles are? You were just asking me if I knew what Star Trek was.
All right.
Like I'm not that much. I'm not that much out of the loop. I think we're not as bad as you guys think we are. Don't worry.
I was going to say, Archie has ties that are older than you are, right?
I have watches that are older than I am.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Exactly. So let's see. You have a rough idea what your future is. Where do you see yourself going? We talked about intermediate term, and like you said, looking into more mid-tier watches, especially building your channel up. Do you see yourself being interested? And like I said, let's just picture yourself 10, 15 years as a successful practicing physician. Do you see yourself in like having scads of money available? What do you see? What direction you see your collection going in? Do you see yourself going into more horology, or do you see yourself going into Uber vintage? Like 4-digit.
You know what?
Do you see yourself Patek Philippe's or 4-digit subs?
Well, wait, like 4-digit Submariners?
Yeah.
Like that range. Okay, so I would say, my taste changes over time. As you can see, elevators to watches, there's really no connection there. But honestly, I think, in long term, there is a thing that I'm not going to answer yet because I don't want to.
Right.
But
you saw the super
by the way,
chat,
how
right?
many people are watching? How many people are watching?
We have 100 people. We have 100 people watching now. But keep in mind, a lot of the audience, it's you'd be surprised how many people when you wake up in the morning. Max, we're super chat by Ronnie Paul. Max, do you have any job hunting advice for Archie?
I do not. I'm actually unemployed right now.
Nice.
I'm unemployed right now, so I couldn't tell you. But
any girlfriends? Anything like that going on?
No. Yeah, are you kidding? No. No, I'm kidding. But honestly, you know what? At the point in my life, what's the point? It's a good question, but I couldn't. I don't see why you would balance that with watches and grades, and because it's a lot, but good question, I'd say. Somebody has a super chat.
Okay. Max, what is Okay. Max, what is larger? Archie's waistline, TGV's new of watches Federico owns, or the amount of years since CLYVE has survived the Jurassic era?
Do we have to answer these?
Yeah, we have to answer. We have to answer.
Oh my god. Okay. Wait? Should I answer? Yes. I don't like this stuff. I don't like. All right. I would say TGV's new waist diameter, or his new waist diameter. His new AP.
Archie's waistline, TGV's new AP case diameter, the amount of real watches Federico owns, or the amount of years since CLYVE has survived the Jurassic era.
Definitely the TGV's new AP case, because that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
Nice. All right. So, but your tastes are changing. But okay, but we're talking about now. Let's just say now, if you picture a 34-year-old Max, or picture a 34-year-old Dr. Levinson. What do you see on your wrist? What do you see in your watch box as you come in from a day at the clinic or a day at the hospital?
I would say I'm starting to go into, as I said, Omega. I'm starting to get really obsessed with Vulcan. And I love that, but I think I would definitely have a reverso. Definitely have a reverso. Definitely have like a master control date, whatever they're called, the Licoltera or Jaeger Licoltera. But I right now I think my everyday watch, if I had like all the money in the world, would be everyday. I actually really like, say what you might, but I really like the Nautilus.
Oh yeah.
Say what you may, because I know that gets a lot of hate in certain areas. Certain areas they love them, but they're asking a huge premium over retail right now, as we're all familiar with. But I think that would be a pretty cool candidate for an everyday watch for me.
Okay, so you don't think so? You think the Reverso, the traditional doctor's watch, would be too stereotypical?
What you think the Reverso is the typical doctor's watch?
I've actually heard quite a few people refer to it as a doctor's watch.
Well, I'll tell you this: both of my grandparents are doctors. My uncle, my great uncle's a doctor. My other great uncle's a doctor. None of them have ever owned a Reverso.
Okay, out of your family physicians, what's the most common watch then?
A Casio F91W.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just kidding. No, probably Daytona. But super
nice.
Let's do it.
Nice. Okay, good. You had me going. I was like, oh, okay, they're doctors. All right, Max, point of advice. Don't listen to these YouTube bad people when learning to pronounce watch name. It's not Jaeger LeCoultre, just like you said. Ask Archie how to pronounce it.
How do you pronounce it, Archie?
Well, look, it's. I'm not very good at pronouncing these things, and I've deliberately tried to mispronounce everything. But it's. Without a bullshit French accent, there is just a Jaeger LeCoultre. Jaeger, the J.
Jaeger LeCoultre.
Jaeger LeCoultre. That's all it is. Jaeger LeCoultre. That's all it is. That's all it is.
You have to imagine yourself smoking. You have to imagine yourself holding a cigarette when you say it.
Yes.
To be truly French.
But I mean, look, it's a great. Whatever you do, don't get an Atmos clock. They are the worst clocks.
Really?
In the world. Yeah, I've had about 3 of the bastards. Only one worked. Only one worked. They're just garbage.
No, that's interesting. Because they get so much love, you'd never really.
Well,
I've heard you say that before, but it's
Yeah, I've had a few. Sorry, Clive. Keep taking. Clive's running the show today.
Oh, that's right. If indeed it is a show and if anyone's running it. Okay, now, Max, shoes on the other foot. We've been asking you a lot of questions. What questions do you have for me or Archie?
Yeah, good idea, Clive.
Good, very good idea. Archie, I'm going to start with you.
Sure, ask anything. Don't be afraid. I will tell you.
Okay, so I appreciate that, by the way. Because I'm going to take advantage so I don't have to, like, you know, but I would say if you were in my position, because you're very good at this, if you were in my position, what direction would you tell me to go?
Nice.
Oh, well, you know, I reckon for somebody in your position there, I reckon.
Whoa! Let me get this one. Don't get married.
He's talking about watches. I'd be inclined. I reckon for you.
It doesn't matter. Don't get married.
I reckon for you, the perfect watch for you would be a 36 mil Explorer 1.
Really?
They're cheap because they are a bit small. Yes, they are, but they're so iconic. Like it's a sports watch that is also a dress watch. Like a dress watch has to be just simple and elegant, and I reckon that would be a perfect piece to add to your collection. Get a Rolex Explorer 1, 36 mil. Get the sapphire one, so that'd be a 14270. They're pretty good bang per buck. Very good bang per buck on the used market there. Black dial 369, just gorgeous piece. I'd get that. I reckon your Omega's cool. I reckon, you know, the Speedmaster, get that down the track. I would say Reverso. Look, I absolutely love my Reverso. You know, that is just, I love that piece so much. I would say for you, I would sort of stay, look, you don't need to get a Patek tomorrow. You know, like so many people are trying to get everything immediately. Oh, I'm going to get this now, and you got to slow down. There are some spoiled shits. I've had some really spoiled kids who, I had a Russian guy who was given everything, like Pateks, and I got to be honest with you. I think sometimes
super chat. Max, if you were to describe, you see, the rules apply to everybody. Max, if you were to describe these YouTube phonies as a watch, which one would they be? Archibald, Clive, TGV, Tim from What You Want, Ben Clymer. Now keep in mind, I sent you a picture of a
horned Rolex.
So I'm not trying to influence your discussion. I'm not trying to influence your choices at all. But which watch would describe
It's not going to be the horned Rolex. I'm sorry, Archie. I've got you on this one. It's not. It's not. I honestly, you know what? I don't think that as of right now, you know, I don't think I could. But if I could describe it as one watch, and I wouldn't word it like that.
Okay, let me rephrase this. Let's play the question a little bit. Sorry, Tansil. It's only $5, so I get to play with your question. Which of Archie's current collection best suits him? Which of Archie's current 5 or 6 or 7 or how many it is? It changes. Which watch do you think most says Archie Luxury?
Speedmaster. Because it is synonymous with the Archie Luxury name. Just is.
Speedmaster, or could you say the Polar Explorer? Because I almost think the Polar Explorer.
You know what? Yeah, thinking about it, maybe the Polar Explorer, because that's, you know, actually, yeah, I'd say Polar Explorer. You're right, Polar Explorer.
You know, a lot of people on YouTube have really been talking about the Explorer. Polar Explorer as a value proposition, but I actually kind of think he was the first one. He still is, even though it's not. But yeah, okay. So, which one of my collection do you think best suits me?
Best suits you, and this is like character-wise, or just, you know,
or
fashion-wise.
Just it's you can answer that question on however way you want to.
Okay, so you know what? I would say, I gotta say, you don't own it yet because I know you're gonna buy it, but the horned Rolex. I'm just gonna like associate that. But honestly, I think the day date, like, you know, kind of just, you know, just from what I know, you know, we've, you know, actually known each other for, you know, maybe 7 hours now at most. But I would say definitely the day date. It's just something that, yeah.
Okay. Now, which watch would you associate with TGV, or which watch would best describe TGV?
TGV. I'd say the Nautilus.
Okay, now why would TGV be described?
He doesn't have a Nautilus. He doesn't have.
No, I know. Well, no, out of his collection, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Better if it's one out of his collection, but.
Okay. Out of his collection, I would say probably his sub, the Submariner, because it is something that's very desirable. And this is not from me. This is just from what's been going on. But, you know, I would say it's the Submariner because it's very loved by certain people, and other people just, you know, they don't like it as much. You know, that's mine.
Let me interrupt the super chat with another super chat.
Yeah.
Clive, you're a lawyer. It's obvious which watch suits you, the Clinton. You're sleazy and you'll do anything for money.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Let's go back to this. Okay, so TGV. I mean, not T. So we talked. So you don't think the Squale, you don't think the Lion Chart describes TGV the best?
But actually, you know what? The Lion Shark. No, not at all.
Okay.
I'd say probably the opposite.
Okay, so basically, yeah. So he's basically trying to, when he spooks something like the Squale, that's basically not really reflects what he is. That just reflects what? Well, never mind. I'll try not to get involved with that. Which watch do you think best describes Tim Mah?
Tim. Okay. So, Tim, you know, this is actually like really complicated because I actually want to think about this. These are actually really good questions. Tim, for what he is, would be... I'm not going to make it JLC. It can't be. But okay. I'm going to say... What watch is not as good as you think it is? No, sorry. No. What watch is very, very good, but from looking at it, you wouldn't think it is? I worded it wrong. I would say...
IWC and Manure.
Which one is that?
Archie's.
It's
the Manure. Sorry, the Ingenieur that actually looks like all the other ones, but has the exclusive, super high quality in-house movement.
Yes, actually, you know what? That's a good one. But I would think almost Archie is gonna cringe. I know. I'm sorry. Seiko SKX. All have our different opinions on it. It's not as good as it looks. Sorry, it's better than it looks. Tim, you know, from looking at him, you wouldn't see how much knowledge he actually has. But, you know, when you start talking to him, you really start realizing. That would be my Tim watch, Seiko SKX.
And finally, Ben Clymer. Which watch best describes Ben Clymer?
So, Ben, I would say...
Now, just sort of interest there, he did a story in Hodinkee called Two Watch Collection. And he said if he had to have just two watches, he's got a Patek 3940 perpetual calendar, and a Lange chronograph. I think it would have to be one of those.
You know,
Let
honestly,
let him answer.
He's right. But based on his personality, I would say, well, you know, and Ben, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I don't want to like ruin our friendship or whatever.
He doesn't watch my stuff. He doesn't watch my stuff.
But if he eventually does, for whatever. No, but honestly, I think, you know, it would be like Mont Blanc. Because it's very undervalued to a certain degree. Right? Do you agree?
No, this is your opinion. This is your opinion. No, I think Mont Blanc suits Ben Clymer very well because he's very expensive for what he is, and not much substance underneath the surface.
Well, you know, honestly, for me, I think that
drag you into YouTube guru politics. Max.
No. I think, you know, Ben. He's a friend of mine. And he's
a cool guy. He's actually a cool guy, to be honest with you. You know, he's a cool guy. I've never spoken to Ben, but I got to tell you the truth. There, he's very switched on guy, and he's a bit of a car person. He's a bit of a watch person. He's really cool guy. Really cool guy. He's a really cool guy.
No,
okay,
what I think.
Moving on to the Max. Moving on to the next super chat. It's Way They Come, Fast and Furious, AC3 edition. Max, which one of these meals would come to your mind first if you were to tell your parents that Archie was staying for dinner? Kraft dinner, a bucket of KFC, meatloaf, or fruitcake?
For dinner, I would say. Well, you know what? I haven't spoken to Archie, you know, or I haven't actually talked to him, you know, since about maybe 30, well, no, like an hour ago. But I would say maybe if he was just coming over for dinner, I'd say maybe like I meatloaf, because I don't know, it's kind of traditional, but it's kind of not very common for my house, and it would be cool just for a little special occasion. I'd say that's what I'd have, just as an honest answer.
Also, he kind of looks like meatloaf. Also, he's kind of the bad attitude.
No, he doesn't. I don't really. I'm sorry, but I don't like. But we have another one.
Moving on to the next super chat question. Okay, actually, Nathan Sandrillian. I actually commented on TGV's AP video saying, "How long before it goes on a NATO?" And he replied, "It doesn't." He doesn't put NATOs on watches with Roman numerals on it. So what? Okay, so explain that.
Me? Why don't you have a go at explaining that? Because I couldn't. I put a NATO on absolutely everything. I don't care if it's
I've even put a NATO on some Pateks. You know that, Clive, don't you?
No.
I do the same thing. Well, I mean, if I had a Patek, I'd do the same thing. I would.
Yeah, I put it on a NATO. Just to annoy the purists.
Is it a fist candy NATO or what?
Just a navy. I had a grey NATO, Clive. Grey NATO. That's right.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Okay. No, cool.
Honestly, I saw a Longa one at like this Red Bar meetup, and it was on a NATO, and I was like, actually, I was surprised at the time, and now I'm just like, you know, I would do that if I had a Longa one. I'd put it on a NATO right away. That's what it would be.
Actually,
for me.
That's speaking of Longa one. That's actually what I'm in love with at the moment.
Oh,
you know that
it's such a great watch.
It is such a cool watch. The Longa one is just so. And it's manual wind. I don't even mind, like the older ones were 38.5 mil. They were you know, but I still think, because they've gone for the they got the what is it? It's the world. Is it a world time? Like, what's the Lange one? They got the.
It has the off-centered.
No, I'm thinking they got a world time one, I think, or something. Is it a world time one, or it's just a GMT function one? But they're just. I like the older, the first sort of ones. You know, they have that just so sexy. They're very, very sexy. It's a power reserve.
They're just such a, you know, Longa in a way. This is sorry, I'm gonna get so much hate. I already am for my pronunciation. But for me, you know, a Longa and Zona, however you wanna, because I'm just gonna do an example of everything. But I love the brand. It's such a fantastic, and I think, you know what, I can see you owning one. I really could.
Wow, thank you.
And honestly, and you know, someday if you ever really get the chance, it's so worth it. It's such a, you know, just winding it is an occasion.
Yeah,
you know,
they are amazing. I must admit, I would love to have one. I would love to. I'm just going to work out which kidney I'm prepared to live without. Yeah, they're expensive.
You know, what watch advice would you give Archie about his collection? But okay, let's start with the Patek. Buy, sell, or hold.
This is referring to the world time.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Here we go. Another super Max, if you had to describe your friends that you talked to Archie, Fed, and TGV about watches on the interwebs, which one of these phonies would embarrass you more?
Honestly, none of them. Honestly, none of them. None of them.
Okay. Also knows Stephen K.
Oh, God.
Archie.
Yes.
I have had 5 beers and I'm slightly inebriated, but you provided me endless entertainment and watch guidance in 2017. That was actually thinking on the fly.
Wow.
Thanks for the effort and know that there are plenty of us that appreciate your work.
Wow, that sounds really cool. He's a really cool guy.
I could tell you that it really is true. You know, we owe so much just to, you know, your videos. It's true. I can second that.
Wow, that's amazing to hear that.
So in general, what advice would you give Archie Luxury?
For collection?
Yes. About his current collection. Are any of the pieces you say, if it were me, I would keep this one, sell this one, and buy this one?
You know what? One piece that I've always looked up to, and I think that you would be able to rock personally, or rock. Sorry, I won't use that word ever again. Like to have in your collection, but a Longa 1518, just standard, and maybe in like white gold, standard 2-hand. What do you think?
Actually, that could be a better choice than the Longa one because it's more affordable and still absolutely beautiful.
Have you ever handled one of these?
Yeah, I handled an 1815 chronograph the other day, which is so expensive, but yes, they are beautiful. Longa quality is, they say with Longa, the quality is the same no matter how much you spend.
Sorry. No, didn't like Philippe. Sorry, guys. Yeah, sorry.
Super chat. Tanzil and sorry. Back to true form. Archie, do you appreciate Ralphie's investigative journalism on the Frederico series more than you enjoy devouring your children's birthday ice cream cake?
Yes, I do. Ralphie's a cool guy. Ralphie's really cool. I love Ralphie. And it's all true. I tell you that now. It's all true because I actually met Federico.
No. Bad pontiff. Bad pontiff. No. God damn it, I'm not going to have Chris Hansen knocking on my door now. We're almost through this thing.
Oh, my God.
All right. No, we're not going to go there. We are not going to go. I'm not going to go within 5 miles of the border of that. All right. So anyway, Archie, to our children's birthday cake. Okay. Actually, Ving Tin Ye, who was actually on the stream last night, was actually suggesting what do you think about a Longa 1815?
Me or Archie?
Either one. What do you think?
Amazing. Any Longa is just superb. I mean, is there a bad Longa?
I don't think so.
Is there a bad Lange besides that quartzy? You know, that digital one with the numbers. What's it called? You know, yeah, what's that called?
Okay, Mark.
Sorry,
Max.
Max,
it's a quick question, and
it's the Zeitwerk. It's a Zeitwerk.
Zeitwerk. Yes.
Do you think Glashütte is a acceptable substitute for Lange, or you think it's just simply a poor man's Lange?
Poor man's Lange.
I said Max, because actually, unlike you, Max will be able to afford one eventually.
Don't say that. No. Honestly, you know what? I think totally it's, you know, I have respect for the brand. It's like saying that the Porsche Boxster is a poor man's 911. It has some truth to it, but it doesn't feel right to say it, you know, because you have so much respect for it, and you can't just like throw it off like that. You know, I have a lot of respect for Glashütte or Glashütte Original, or, you know, I'm gonna again get a lot of beef for that, but, you know, definitely I'd say it's kind of in between.
Wow.
It's in between.
All right. Well, I think it's, like I said, I hate to say it, but it's getting, I'm the oldest one in the group, and it's way Max. I have enjoyed this tremendously. No,
it's an honor. It really is.
So, like I said, and definitely, we're going to be keeping an eye on the on your channel. Now, our super chats are going to have super chats on your channel.
Wait, what do you mean? Like,
okay, yeah. Are you going to enable your channel to have super chats?
Probably not, because I'm not really aiming to make money from it. But I'm kind of scared to see what some of the people are going to be saying, and then I can't really not answer it.
Well, you don't have. Well, no, that's just no. You have to keep in mind, he has a. How do I? God, I can't think of a nice, polite, G-rated way to say this. He will do anything for $1. The Pontiff will. It doesn't have to. Doesn't necessarily. If someone super chats, you can just simply acknowledge and say no.
Study hard. There, he's trying to say to you, study hard. YouTube is a very tough gig. And,
well, you know what? If I'm totally honest, for me, you know, YouTube is, as it is, really cool, and I enjoy it. I don't think it's where I would end up going, you know, professionally or whatever. But, you know, honestly, I definitely think, you know, I honestly didn't, when I started my YouTube channel, I wasn't expecting it to ever really, hasn't really, but I'm not really aiming to make money from it, and that's just my main sort of thing from YouTube. But I don't know where I was going to go with that. But
you're simply doing it to get your message out, or for the love of for the love of the craft.
Exactly.
Not the YouTube craft, but rather horology.
Exactly.
All right. Exactly. Well, actually, and like I said, thanks for coming on and staying up late. And this late. Like I said, Max Levinson. Guys, if you're on the channel, be nice. Behave.
Okay, anyway, I'll press the button now, Clive. Thank you so much there, Max, for joining us. And hey, don't wish too hard, because it could come true. Remember that.
Sure.
Yeah, actually.
Okay, I'll end that now. Clive, pressing the button.